Welcome back, BIOL313 students, to our second review video for cellular neurobiology. Last time we discussed the central nervous system and the importance of white matter in the brain. Today we'll be discussing and breaking down the shape and structure of neurons and their function in the central nervous system. Prior to discussing the different parts of the neuron, first we have to understand what a neuron is and its function. The neuron is the basic working unit of the brain, a specialized cell that is designed to transmit information to other nerve cells, muscle cells, and gland cells throughout the body. Neurons are within the nervous system as well that transmit information to other nerve cells, muscle, or gland cells throughout the body, as previously mentioned. Most neurons consist of three main parts, which is the cell body, an axon, and a dendrite. As you can see by the picture on the screen, the information is received from the dendrites. It goes through the cell body, through the axon, and out through the axon terminal to the next neuron. That is how the message is transcribed and passed along from neuron to neuron throughout the body. Now we're going to be breaking down all the different components that make up the neuron cell. So as you can see in the figure to my right, there are a few components to the neuron cell itself. So starting off at the top, at the first part of the neuron cell is the dendrite. The dendrite is responsible for receiving all signals from other cells. Now do remember, the way signals are sent from neuron to neuron is an electrical pulse. So the dendrites are responsible for receiving that electrical pulse and mimicking it in its own cell so that it can be transferred to another neuron down the line. Our next portion of the neuron is the cell body. The cell body attaches to the dendrite and to the axon. So the cell body is simply responsible for organizing and keeping the cell functional. The next portion of the neuron is the axon. The axon is built of a few different components that all work together. So the general goal of the axon is to transfer signals from the dendrite, so from the previous neuron to the next neuron. This is done through the use of a few different elements. The first element that the axons use is a myelin sheath. This is a layer of glial cells that were created by the Schwarm cell. And the general function of the myelin sheath is to increase the overall speed of the signal. This allows the neurons to receive and send the signal at high rates. This makes it easier for the message to be sent to different parts of the body. It also allows for a longer signal chain to be created. The other portion of the axon, besides the myelin sheath and the Schwarm cells, is the node of Ranvier. The nodes are responsible for the diffusion of ions, which allow for the signal to pass through the actual axon itself. This allows for the signal to move its way down the axon without any sort of inconvenience or hindrance from any sort of ion concentrations, because the ion concentrations could be negative or positive, which would definitely impact an electrical pulse. The final portion of the neuron is the axon terminal. This is responsible for sending the signal to the next set of dendrites and starting the process all over again. Thanks for watching the BIO313 review video 2 on neuron structure and function. For part 3, we will be breaking down the different types of neurons.